After covering the Virginia Minority Cannabis Coalition, VipoCan, and No Left Turns, one question keeps coming up. How do organizations like these actually get built in Virginia, and what role does the Virginia Cannabis Control Authority really play? Today's video answers that question step by step, using Virginia law, real examples, and clear legal boundaries. Here's the context and why this video matters. In our previous videos, we examined 3 different organizations often discussed in cannabis equity conversations. The Virginia Minority Cannabis Coalition, VipoCan, No Left Turns. Each serves a different role, but all are frequently described as being connected to the Virginia Cannabis Control Authority. This is where confusion begins. There is a widespread misconception that the CCA creates, approves, or selects nonprofit organizations. That is not how the system works. Understanding the actual process protects communities from misinformation, unrealistic expectations, and legal risk. So here's the recap. Before explaining how organizations are built, we need to clarify what already exists. The Virginia Cannabis Control Authority is a state agency created by statute. It regulates cannabis and administers the Equity Reinvestment Fund. The Virginia Minority Cannabis Coalition is a Virginia-based nonprofit that provides education and training and later became eligible for equity funding. VipoCan is a national organization headquartered outside Virginia that operates independently and engages with multiple states. No Left Turns is a Virginia-based nonprofit focused on reentry, justice reform, and workforce stability. None of these organizations were created by the CCA. They were built independently and later interacted with the state through lawful processes. That distinction sets the stage for Step 2. Step 2: the actual legal process in Virginia. If someone wants to build an organization aligned with cannabis equity goals in Virginia, the process starts outside of cannabis law entirely. The first step is forming a nonprofit under Virginia corporate law. This involves filing articles of incorporation with the Virginia State Corporation Commission. At this stage, the organization does not need to mention cannabis at all. Most successful organizations focus on lawful purposes such as workforce development, education, reentry support, or community services. This is exactly how organizations like No Left Turns began. Federal nonprofit status. After incorporation, the organization applies for federal tax-exempt status through the IRS. This is done using Form 1023 or 1023 Easy. This step is critical. Without 501(c)(3) status, organizations cannot receive most public grants or philanthropic funding. This is where many ideas fail. The IRS requires clarity, governance, accountability, and lawful purpose. Cannabis promotion language would disqualify an application. Successful organizations stay focused on education, support, and public benefit. Building programs before funding. One of the most misunderstood steps is funding. The Virginia Cannabis Control Authority does not fund ideas. It funds operating organizations with proven capacity. That means programs must exist before grants are awarded. Organizations must demonstrate real services, documented outcomes, leadership structure, and financial controls. This is why organizations like the Virginia Minority Cannabis Coalition were already active before receiving equity funding. Funding follows structure, not the other way around. How organizations interface with the CCA. The CCA does not approve missions, create nonprofits, or endorse organizations. Instead, it publishes grant opportunities tied to the Equity Reinvestment Fund. Organizations apply competitively. Applications are evaluated based on eligibility, alignment with statutory goals, compliance readiness, and capacity to deliver services. This process is public, structured, and subject to oversight. There is no shortcut. Tracking the process as a member of the public. Anyone can follow how equity funding works in Virginia. Public notices from the CCA. The Virginia Register of Regulations. Budget documents and legislative directives. These sources show when funding becomes available and what criteria apply. This transparency is intentional and legally required. who this process affects. This information matters to several groups. Community leaders considering nonprofit work. Individuals impacted by past cannabis enforcement. Entrepreneurs exploring future opportunities. Policy advocates and educators. Residents seeking clarity instead of speculation. Misunderstanding the process can lead to wasted time, financial loss, and legal exposure. Scenario example. Imagine a group of community members wants to start a cannabis equity organization. They assume the CCA will approve or sponsor them. They wait. Nothing happens. In reality, the organization must first exist, operate lawfully, and demonstrate impact before ever interacting with the CCA. This misunderstanding stops many good efforts before they begin. Why legal understanding is critical. Cannabis policy is complex and highly regulated. Confusing support organizations with regulatory authority leads to false expectations. Legal clarity ensures accountability, transparency, and public trust. This is especially important in communities historically harmed by enforcement. Equity depends on structure, not assumption. What viewers can do responsibly. If you are interested in this space, the most responsible actions are educational. Learn Virginia nonprofit law. Understand the role of state agencies. Follow public notices. Engage in policy discussions. Build transferable skills. No organization can bypass the law. Education positions you to act when opportunities arise. Why subscribing matters. Virginia cannabis policy is still evolving. Regulations change, funding criteria shift, equity frameworks develop. This channel exists to document and explain those changes clearly and responsibly. Subscribing ensures you receive accurate, Virginia-specific information instead of speculation. What to watch next. In upcoming videos, we will explore how funding decisions are evaluated, what eligibility actually means, and how communities can engage without legal risk. Question. Do you think Virginia's current equity structure is transparent enough for communities to navigate, or does it need clearer public education? Put your answer in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Virginia-focused cannabis law and policy education.